There comes a time when you have to know how to brush it off. You know, you may find yourself in a place or in a situation where, something may have gone wrong, between you and another individual, whether it be your brother, whether it be your sister, whether it be your mother, whether it be your aunt, whether it be your uncle, whoever it may be, whether it be your boss, whether it may be, someone, that you were maybe in a situation with, and the situation didn't turn out well, you know, you have to know how to brush it off. You may have found yourself, getting in an argument, with them, and the argument, probably escalated, you know, all because, you made the choice, not to brush it off, but you chose to, you know, fight fire with fire, you know. The Bible tells us we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities and powers, against rulers of the darkness of this world, and spiritual wickedness in high places, When we find ourselves, maybe in an argument with someone else, we have to make that decision to say, something, I am going to maybe walk away, I'm gonna walk away, to save myself, from getting in a heated, argument with that person, you know. You do not want, to put yourself, in that category, as a child of Jesus, as the Christian that you are. You do not want to put yourself in a position, to be, you know, maybe, ashamed or maybe, looked at, as not being the person that you should be in terms of walking in the spirit as a child of God, You never want to allow yourself to get to that place, where you find yourself, fighting in the flesh, every day, the flesh, wants to have its way, and sometimes if we are persons, that are at peace, you know, the enemy will use whomever he chooses to get us at that place or that level of escalating, And you have to recognize when the enemy is trying to do that, You have to always keep in mind that, every day, you may encounter maybe that person, that will try you, or that may test you, but you have to pass that test, If you find yourself, keep going around circles, of escalating with persons, all the time, you know, you have to you have to sit down and evaluate yourself and say, something, let me take the time, to allow God to help me to crucify my flesh so that I will not escalate anymore. You know, you don't want to always repeat the same cycles, negative cycles. You don't want to always repeat the same cycles that are not good over and over again. Change will never come, when we stay, at that place of going through the motions over and over again, those same emotions that God does not want us to go through, in order to break that cycle, in order to break that cycle of going through those same emotions, you have to brush it off. You have to let it go, where the spirit of the Lord is, there is liberty, when you find yourself in a situation like that with other persons, you be the bigger person, you say, hey man, I know we had an altercation, I know we had maybe a disagreement, but you know something, God is love, and love covers a multitude of sin, and so even though we had this altercation, or even though we had this argument, I still love you, because God is love, love looks beyond faults, love keeps no record of being wrong. And so I want to tell you today, if you had a grudge, or if you had an altercation with someone else, brush it off, forgive that person, forgive that person, you know we are to love, we are to forgive 70 times 7 times, you never want to find yourself in a place, where you are holding on, um, based on what someone has done, you never want to find yourself in that place. The Bible says, be angry and sin not. Let not the sun go down upon your wrath. So I want to say to you today, whatever it is, that you may have had with someone else, brush it off today.